well fed. Even if you don't have money, God always raises people up for his children. You are his child. Don't give up on yourself.
Your story. Obviously, you've been married for 13 years, so I'm meant to believe that that was the only sort of storm that you went through, right? Because you guys look perfect, you know what I mean? And like I said, like I like to bring these beautiful couples because sometimes you feel like it's impossible to have this amazing marriage because you don't know people's stories, you know? So I'd like for you to share with us some of the other challenges that you face, if any. If not, then maybe you can just give them, you know, advice and we wrap it up. Okay, so you got married, yeah. So after the pregnancy thingy, then you know what happened. Like you were taken to his place.
Yes, I was taken to his place, and then obviously he decided that he wanted us to get married. Mm-hmm. So then he had to send people, his family, to my house to discuss lobola, to start the lobola negotiations and also damages since we fell pregnant outside of wedlock. So that process went by, and before you know it, I was about to pop. Mm-hmm. So I went back home to live with my mom, who was with me throughout the process. Great. Yes, and it was amazing. It was great. He was always there. He was such a hands-on dad. I wasn't surprised. He was such a sweet boyfriend. He still is a hands-on dad, actually.
We'll hear more about that later. Yeah.
So yeah, and then we stayed about a year apart because there was a time when he was here in Zambia and I was in Zimbabwe.
Okay, so what did you came for something in Zambia?
Yes, he came to work.
All right.
In Zambia. Okay. Yes. So I think when Juanita was born, we moved here together. And then I went back home on my own, and he stayed. And that was like 1 year of being apart, which was a hard year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
that time, there was no WhatsApp.
Yeah, Facebook was still new. Yeah.
It wasn't on your phone by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a good 80+% of the time.
There was no communication.
So how did you survive?
It was hard. It was really hard. Many times I thought that the relationship was over. Many times I thought that, oh wow, he's just one of those guys who's gone and is never coming back, you know. And I think coming closer to the time when he was about to come back home, that's when we started talking, you know, and that's when we started talking, and that's when we realized that no, we really do want to spend the rest of our lives together. Because I mean, during that period of being apart, we always got a lot of talk about how young we were, how it was a mistake, and how we don't have to
get married. Yes.
You know, people will even, to the best of their abilities, advise you based on what they know, what they think is right, you know. And I don't blame them, you know. People give you what they have. And what they had was, look, you're young, you can go back to school, you don't have to get married, you know. And it kind of made sense then, and it was an option that we were almost willing to explore. But when we got back together and we were together and with our baby, we said no, we want to be a family. And
Beautiful decision.
Yeah, so we chose to stay together. We chose to continue this journey together. So we started living together, and at the time we also started living with the kids, right? Yeah,
With a
'cause-
baby.
No, not only our baby, but we had other kids.
All right.
That were almost like our adopted kids.
All right.
Yes, they were his younger
we were
cousins.
like,
There was
six.
Yes, 3 teenagers. Oh, there were 3 teenagers. There were 5. 3 teenagers and an adolescent and a toddler. Plus
and
our
on
baby.
occasion another teenager.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we started living with them as well, and they also needed our guidance. And it was hard. It was hard. We didn't have experience in parenting teenagers. We didn't have experience in parenting anybody.
Let alone the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, it was.
It was
And
tough.
I mean, we were churchgoers. We were not.
This time you're not forced.
No.
Mr. Maronga.
An option now.
Now, our parents, we want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
were taking the kids to church.
Wow, great.
But church wasn't happening at home.
No,
So it was hard in the sense that we didn't have direction from the Holy Spirit on how to do things. But I think we did try our level best, and after that season, I remember, like you said, what are the challenges that we faced. So apart from being parents to teenagers and just a whole big family, just the experience of not knowing what to do.
Yes.
I think that was a challenge. Having the kids was amazing. We loved those guys. We always had fun with them. But just the challenge of not knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to deal with certain things, that was the challenge. We also experienced emotional infidelity. I don't know if that is a correct word. Emotional affairs, physical affairs, actual affairs where you'd see other people, and we also had.
And how old were you in marriage?
About 5?
5 years.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years.
And you're in Zim.
Yes.
First scandal, though. Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, I was first scandal. Oh, wow, scandal.
First scandal. Okay, 5 years, yes.
Yeah, 5 years, and I mean,
we were fairly popular as well in our town, so it was not. It was news. It went around the bad way. So it also, apart from the whole infidelity actually happening, there was the social aspect.
Yes.
we say of it. These were friends. It was quite a messy time.
But how did you get to that point? What happened? Because from your story, like, it looks like you guys loved each other from day one, and this is very evident in the decisions that you made, the risk you took to stay together, regardless. 1 year apart, it had nothing on you. But what took you to that place? Where was your love? Is it because you were so bombarded with a lot of issues? Because, I think you loved each other, but what happened?
Well, one of the things that my husband and I didn't have was guidance. Yeah, we never had guidance. We never had mentors. We never had counseling. So we didn't know how to deal with communication issues.
We had an idea of what we wanted.
You loved each other, but you didn't have the working knowledge.
Yes, it wasn't enough.
So it is true when they say, love is not enough. There's a lot of other things that need to help
sustain
the love. Yeah. And for us, I must say, maybe you can say we were resilient enough. It could have happened sooner. So we struggled with a lot of things from insecurities of our own. Individually.
I mean, we got married at 19. We didn't know who we were.
We didn't know much.
We didn't know anything. We were kids.
As a father, husband, I even did have a vision that I can present to my wife and say, this is where I think I want us to take this family. So all those those things, as basic as they sound, absence of them brought chaos for us, even though there was love.
So love was there, but yeah.
Lots of love. There was even love for these problems that we are talking about. Lots of love.
Yeah,
but there was chaos.
I was gonna mention that apart from the infidelity, there were the actual physical fights. There were the verbal fights, and then there were the
With each
physical
other.
fights with each other. Yeah, I mean, we have scars. You still have that scar thing.
Yeah. What happened?
She stabbed me in the neck with the bottle.
Yeah. I mean,
Is my brother-in-law, of course. She went for the jump.
I mean, like he said, there was no divorce.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny now, but
Yes, I can imagine.
When it was happening,
But the
it
scars
wasn't-
can, yeah.
Yeah, but the scars, I mean, they'll always be reminders to us of what we have
after
overcome.
we pass them, it's one of those where we think, is it really necessary?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we had
we start feeling
personal
a bit silly,
issues.
but we realize why those things happened, and we had to come to a place of forgiving ourselves, forgiving one another. Forgiving ourselves maybe for our immaturity at the time, and not also having, we didn't know where to go. This was not the kind of information you take to your mother. That look, this is what's happening with this girl. Then I'm adding a
Yes.
burden onto her. But we praise God, the kind of parents we had. They've been loving and supporting amazingly, and it's hurt them every time we did.
Harm to each
put them
other.
through
Our drama.
I always say me and my wife's marriage is like an epic movie. There's always some
Some going down. There's a little bit of everything. Have you watched Lord of the Rings? There's a little bit of action. There's a little bit of thriller,
Of romance,
suspense, romance, drama.
But it's not showing on your faces, right?
No.
Praise God.
Because I can't even see the scar. So,
Oh, I have one on my leg, but
And thankfully we amazingly had good childhood friends. Childhood friends, like she said, her best friend growing up. My childhood friends who I grew up with, they probably didn't share the same Christian, but they were very supportive of our relationship, even in that chaos.
I actually had a friend, interestingly enough, who would call me, and whenever she felt like there was something going on, she would give me a call and she'll, "Are you alright?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, something's going on." She's like, "Come, let's have a drink," and then we talk about it, and it's
Let's have Coke.
No, girl, a Savannah. And we would talk about it, but you know what surprised me?
Yeah.
You know when I was talking about how God will raise even the person you least expect?
Yes.
With that Savannah in her hand, she'd be like to me, "My sister, you need to pray about this."
No.
You need to, the devil.
Was she taking Savannah as well?
Yes. She was. With the Savannah in her hand, she was telling me I need to pray for my marriage. This is
But
why
did you
I'm
take her
saying-
seriously?
I did take her seriously.
Sounded nice.
Do you know what?
How it comes,
We
of course.
were at a bar / restaurant when we were talking about this.
Yeah.
And she prayed for me. She's like, "Come, let's pray." Because I feel like the enemy is trying to destroy her.
Okay, this is great, but it's fun.
I know.
Wow, so much to learn from you guys, So I believe that I still have a couple of episodes with you because you have so much to share. But then you mentioned something about infidelity. I'd like to hear more, like briefly, like from your side and this side. How did you get there, and how did you come out? For you to reach where you are literally completely healed in your marriage. In case there's someone out there that is struggling with this, you know what I mean? Yeah, so maybe I don't know who wants to start.
I could go first.
As usual.
Well, for me, I would say the breakdown in communication that was going on in our marriage. Because, like you said earlier, we were happy, we were in love,
Yes.
but love wasn't enough.
Yes.
We didn't know how to sustain that love. We didn't know how to communicate with one another and with ourselves. We were insecure. We got into this marriage not knowing who we were as individuals and as a couple and in Christ, which I think is very important. And because of that, we found a scapegoat. For me, it was escaping into the arms of another man. For me, sometimes it would be alcohol. Sometimes I'm weak. You needed something to take you away from the issues of this marriage that you cannot leave because you swore to stay until death. So you said, you know what? Even if I don't leave, I can escape for a little while. So those affairs were just a scapegoat. It was just a place of escape, temporary fixture, something that would give us some kind of relief from our lives.
Like a breather,
a minute, and then you're back into your normal cycle, feeling worse than you did before. And that's how we ended up in all these problems.
Great. Thank you. So maybe I should hear before I love how you talked about, because a lot of people think, I have issues, let me go drink, let me do that. But you talked about how it just gives you a temporal solution. Fixture, yeah. Then afterwards you get back to, to a worse situation, right?
It's like a high.
Wow.
It's actually like a high. You want to be out of your body for a brief moment. You want to run away from the problems. I was running away from the person I was becoming and not being able to deal with it, and also running away from him and running away from our problems together, running away from our problems as parents, not only as spouses, and just feeling like a failure.
Wow.
So,
Mr. Maronga, what's the side of story?
For me, I think the biggest thing was failure. Infidelity for me felt like a representation of my failure as a man to protect my rights and not only the things that could have caused her to feel that way, and even from herself, where maybe she needed me for whatever reason, whether it's emotionally or whatever. So largely failure. Obviously, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna be upsetting. But the biggest thing that affected me was just it felt like a significant point or factor in my failure to deliver as a husband. So, oh my God. So, it was hard to come back from that place, and so even I ended up, trying to correct my failure through also, getting into unnecessary relationships, drinking, drug abuse, just trying to get away from myself, and the fact that this has brought shame on my life because socially it's unacceptable, and obviously there was a lot of social battery on her end as opposed to me. So that that's the one first part. There's no part of it where it's okay, let her get her for her bad decisions, let her get her punishment.
It's somehow affecting you.
So it was also affecting me. So even the people out go to try and seek advice, the things they would tell me to, even though I'm complaining, I don't want you to agree with my complaint. I'm going there, I want you to give me some advice to say, look, it's gonna be okay. And,
yes.
Amazingly, some of the places that you get good advice are not even in our fellow Christian circles. And that was the changing factor maybe for me at the end, where a few people reminded me, look, you guys love it. So this has happened. Some of us have been in a relationship from the beginning. So I know that you can overcome this, and that was enough for me to still try to find a way to correct. Even as I was doing my mistakes, some of my friends, I was very reckless. That guy disappeared 3 days.
Let's bring it out there. 4 days. I think the longest was 5.
No.
Almost a week.
I could disappear and I would be engrossed in a lot of activity.
He wouldn't even answer my phone calls.
Maybe you didn't see them.
Oh, please. If we had blue tick in that era, I would have been blue ticked.
So, I would always still be filled with regret while doing what I'm doing.
But why would you still want to go back home?
It's the fix, it's the high.
All right.
You're trying to.
Yeah, I hear you.
You're just trying to find something to ease the pain.
For a moment.
Just help you relax the nerves. To just forget, and move past. I want to just go back and just ignore it. Okay. So, me, if she complained, because I didn't want to address it, in case, we get violent and things like that, I would just opt to disappear.
You go on a holiday.
Yes.
You carry a bag.
I lied. The longest was 7 days. 1 week. I just remembered when you said go on a holiday. He once did that to me. It was 7 days.
So would you get like his bag and stuff?
No,
he would.
I remember this incident where we had a fight, and I was so mad at him for coming at home at like 3 a.m. Like, how could you do this to me? You don't respect me. And unfortunately, we always think it's about us.
Yes.
That's the most unfortunate thing. And that time, when I look back at it now, I know that his escapades had nothing to do with me. My escapades had nothing to do with him. They had everything to do with the individual who is going through that. And had I stopped to say, how can I support you in this season? Because right now I am failing to be a better half. How can I help you through this?
Because in marriage you find there's always an 80-20 or 70-30 situation. Your friend's not doing so great. Even if you're not doing too great, but you're in a better place, And
I love that.
I think that was one realization we only got to get when we started when we found mentorship.
Yeah. Before you get to that, do you have any word of advice to men out there that feel like failures? Because did anyone tell you a failure?
No, it felt
Yes, nobody told you.
I think that's probably the hardest thing for every man. Whether you go through a loss in emotional loss, financial loss, the feeling of failure, because we are naturally created as conquerors, So we always want to conquer. So the moment we feel conquered, we struggle. Probably we're not going to depress the way women get depressed, We're not going to close ourselves up, cry chocolates, call our friends, speak about it in the bus with a total stranger. You know what I mean? But for us, I'm gonna go into my corner, and when I come out, everybody's just going to see.
But that corner, that's what the problem is. Because a lot of
the problem is because we don't know how to open up and address these issues. You find that we find other fixations, and sometimes we don't notice how bad they affect the people we love. So during that time, I didn't know how much it affected my daughter. Obviously I knew how much it affected my wife.
Because
she made it clear. But
I wish I didn't though. When I look back on it now, I wish I didn't do it that way. Because I came to him with the rage and anger, breaking things, and
you wanted him to hear you, right?
I wanted him to hear me.
But it was like, what was happening at that moment?
I had enough of us fighting because I knew I wouldn't win. I knew I wouldn't even I never got to this. At that point, there are stages where I wish we could just have a conversation. Where I could just tell him, this is what I'm going through, my guy. Please, you know what I mean?
Give me a chance.
I'm sorry that, but I'm also struggling with a couple of things in this particular season. But because we never got a chance to ever sit,
Because you didn't know better.
yes, we did have to take first time, really misbehave to the point where
Like
she
I said earlier,
just as
the minute I started talking about it, shouting at him for it, breaking things, just for coming in the morning, like at 3 a.m. The next day he didn't come for 2 days.
Yeah.
So it was almost as though what I was doing was making things worse. It wasn't that I was wrong in the way I felt. It was the way I communicated the way I felt. And like I said, we had no idea how to communicate with one another.
Wow.
And it's interesting that he said that he just wanted to have a conversation with me. Much later on after that, he did struggle.
Sorry. You are giving advice to the guys there, like those who feel like failures. What advice would you give them? Sorry, Fungisai.
Oh,
like
girl.
so much.
Don't worry about it.
Firstly, it's really important to find the right outlet. Yeah. For me, having met Dad, so recently, at no point did he ever have a conversation to me about my drinking. You know what I mean?
That was a shocker for me.
I actually think I even may have had a one-on-one with him, probably tipsy or hungover or something at some point. You know what I mean? But every time we met, we had such general conversations that one area we struggle with mainly is safety. Once I entrust you with something sacred to me and you break that trust, I'm never going to open up again, and I guess maybe that's why his approach to me was that way.
Wow, what's the man?
Yeah,
So
at the end of the day, gradually he focused on what the root problem was, so when you're growing up, I would do this. Okay, so when you're not thinking, so this, so this is the kind of problem happening in life, but don't you think maybe because of this is why you could be acting this way, or, and for me that's a long fun, and having experienced that got me to a place where I don't even know sometimes whether I ever said anything, in detail, but I know that whatever I got from him helped me address what I needed to address, and with time, even I saw change myself, such that it didn't matter it still mattered how I felt, of course, but maybe because you hadn't yet acknowledged that I had begun this process of trying to be better. So even if she'd come at me with that, I kind of now understood where I was going with my healing process.